You are now tuned in to Sir Classics Comedy Zone.
Welcome to Sir Classics Comedy Zone with Valenese B. Today we are interviewing the lovely Comedy Bae. Hello, Comedy Bae. How are you?
Hello, I did not know this was you. I'm good. How are you?
I'm great. Thank you for asking. Indianapolis, stand up.
Period.
We in the building. We in the building.
Let's
I am
go.
so excited to be the one to do this interview with you. You know, I have been following you for a while now. I've reached out to you for advice and help. So for me to be able to finally sit down with you and actually talk to you one-on-one is a great honor to me.
I appreciate that.
You're
Thank you so
welcome.
much.
You're welcome. So for me, you know how when you get ready, people get ready to start interviews, they always ask the same questions like, how did you get into comedy? How'd you get started? For me, I feel like comedy chooses us, right? So when do you think comedy chose you?
Comedy chose me. I've been humorous all my life. I've been class clown. I was just making friends and family laugh, but that wasn't necessarily my passion because I love, even to this day, doing hair, making women beautiful, giving them a sense of, pride and self esteem and stuff like that. But one day, my aunt, she's a poet, so she was putting on an event to showcase her poetry, and it was kind of like a variety show. Now, mind you, I've been in the beauty shops all my life. Everybody used to say, you missed your calling, because I'd be, cracking jokes all day in the beauty shop. But when she finally asked me to do something on stage, I was like, I ain't no comedian. Just please, niece, come do 5 minutes for me. That's it. So, I ain't no stranger to danger. So I went and I closed my eyes and I dreamed like I was on stage. I dreamed of the jokes. I woke up and I remembered them. So I literally recited everything that I dreamt about 5 minutes. And when I came to, because I blacked out and just was saying, what I had dreamt. And when I came to, I looked around and everybody was laughing, but I wasn't quite sure if they was laughing with me or at me. But then I started getting feedback, and everybody was like, "Oh my God, you was funny," and they actually thought I was a comedian. So people in the audience was like, I need you to come do this for me, and I need you to come do that for me. And I'm like, for real? Like, what? And so somebody in the audience wanted me to host their event. It was another poetry event. I hosted that, and the guy in the audience, we like best friends today. He saw me do that at that poetry event, and he had me come do his thing. He said he thought I was an actual from out of town professional comedian, and from that, he's a well-known poet in Indianapolis. He had an open mic called the Greenhouse Effect, which went on. It still goes on today, but I hosted it for 3 years. And hosting actually owned my craft of, conquering stage fright, honing my stage presence, getting familiar with an intimate crowd, and actually having being able to write a set and remember some of the the things I talked about while hosting freestyling end up becoming jokes and part of a set, a bigger picture. So that happened at the beginning. It came from one thing that went from hosting. Then my homeboy Dwayne Cobb, he saw me and had me. He actually convinced my sister to convince me to do his show, and she brung me like a week before. And I went, and she was a fan of this guy named Landon, who he and I are good friends today. She was such a fan of him. Come see him, come see him. And now knowing Landon today, he's hilarious. But this particular night, man, Landon bombed so bad. And the crowd wasn't nice. I'm like, I'm not doing this. No, because if they boo me, listen, I'm fighting everybody.
Felt.
I'm
I
not
feel
gonna do
you.
no. Yeah, so they convinced me. They was like, no, he's usually funny. That I'm like, that crowd was rough. It was at Cloud Nanny's out west. I don't know if y'all ever been there, child, but that Cloud Nanny's full of Gary niggas and Chicago people and West Side people that I don't know.
Hard.
Child, listen, I went the next week. I done a set again. I blacked out, and I just recited some of the stuff that I had previously said, added some new stuff, and everybody was like, "I killed it." So from that, I just was like, let me see where this take me, and I eventually I started doing it, but when I started doing it, I came from a hustler's mentality from it, because at the end of the day, I'm an entrepreneur, I'm a hustler, so I was looking at it like money on the side, just something that I could do to make a couple of dollars. So a lot of comedians today, they don't understand why I never had to sell tickets. I never had to. I mean, I got paid from day one. A lot of comedians, they have to do a lot of open mics. They have to, do the grind, beat the pavement or whatever, and they don't start getting paid till like they get, at least 10-minute sets or bookings or paid bookings. But I've been getting paid since the first time I got on stage, because of the mindset I came from. It was never my dream. It was never something that I actually wanted to do. I treated it like a side hustle. And, I really disrespected comedy at first. And knowing that now, I've came such a long way in the game that I really disrespected the craft at first. And I have to respect it now, because I've had so many dope opportunities, so many just favor in it. So that was the long answer to your
Oh,
question.
you fine. You fine. Look, take your time. So I actually never. I haven't done comedy in Indianapolis yet. My first show, I'm actually working with Dwayne Cobb, is Saturday, April 2nd. This
I'll be
weekend.
there. I'll be
Okay,
there.
good, good. So I came from the world of modeling.
Yeah.
And I kind of pivoted from that and started doing promos. Like I was a bottle girl, and then I started doing like working NASCAR, the Indy 500, and I had ended up working my way all the way up to a tour manager. So my last gig I was a tour manager for Walmart. So I had kind of gotten out of the runway and the photo shoots and everything and went into that aspect for it. And I had ran with that because it was paying. So I was a MC for Allstate at their tailgate parties. And so for me, that's how I got over my stage fright. So I ended up doing a audition when I got started here, and I did a really great job, and I got booked the next day. It wasn't a paid gig, but the fact that someone saw something in me from an audition, and I just got up there and started talking and got booked the next day, I was like, oh, okay, I can do this. I can do this. So have you ever bombed before?
Oh my God, I bombed one time, and it was so crazy that I was so confident. It was in Atlanta. I did. I was there because I opened up a boutique, but I know a lot of comics, so people like that I know that if I'm coming to that city and I know comics there, of course they gonna tell me what stages to get on. So I went, and the first day I was there, I did a place called Cats there, and I murdered Cats. Like the crowd was super dope, and it was so vibey, right? So the promoter that was there at Cats, he saw me. Mind you, I just did Cats because my homeboy Marcus Combs, he was the host. He was just like, stop through, I'll get you some time. So I'm like, yeah, I come do it. So I did that, and the promoter, he got a lot of clubs in Atlanta. He seen me, so he was like, "Hey, I'll pay you to come do my show the next day." So I was there and got a paid gig. I went to this show all cocky, y'all, thinking, you know what I'm saying, because I had just killed the night before. Hey, the crowd was bad and bougie. They was
Mm.
not feeling. But the only thing that made me feel bad, because I ever said, like, if I ever have a bad set, if I ever get booed or any of that, I quit. But the only thing that made me not feel bad about bombing was them niggas didn't laugh at one comic. You hear me?
Oh.
Yeah, they didn't laugh at nobody. And the people that went up before me are certified, bona fide, USDA approved killers on stage. So that's the only reason why I did not evaporate at that time. And then my homeboy, Hot Sauce, Brandon Hot Sauce, he was last. And they laughed at him, but you gotta know Brandon. Brandon is high energy. You know, he'll play the spoons, tap dance, whatever on stage. He gonna make you laugh. So
Okay.
that was a lesson to me about drawing energy from people because it was a laid back atmosphere. They had chandeliers, a candle. It was just too romantic, lights all
For
low, and shit.
comedy.
Niggas didn't come to laugh. Them niggas
Yeah.
wanted to, you know what I'm saying? So, but you know, all the time it ain't the. I mean, you got to work with the crowd that you giving. So, learning that was a learning experience for me about drawing energy from the crowd. And I'm not like hot sauce. Like I don't do all that. But I know that energy is transferred. So the higher
Yes.
energy I am, you know what I'm saying, it'll at least get the crowd, a little life in them.
Uh, so I've done cats as well, and the promoter had hit me up the next day on Instagram and was like, "Send me your number." And so he started sending me invites to come out to his other rooms that he has. And
Yeah.
so I killed Cats as well. Cats is a great place to do open mic.
Yes.
Those people come there for comedy.
The laugh.
I
Yeah.
Yep, they come there to laugh. They come there for comedy. And so I've done clubs like how you said where you go and you confident, you cocky, you like, okay, I'm killing the game, and then you don't get a peep out of them people, and it's like, damn, do I have to come tickle you? Is that how I'm gonna get you to laugh? So that actually happened to me on Tuesday, and you're right, it is a confidence killer because I think I'm pretty funny most days. And so I get up there, I'm looking good, and I'm talking my shit, and they looking at me like they just blinking. I had a couple of
They
chuckles here and there, but it was just like they weren't there for comedy. But I
yeah,
like
they
doing
like
those type of
hearing you.
rooms. I like doing those type of rooms because it helps with improv. It helps with because I want to host as well, so it helps me with improving. It helps me with hosting and emceeing and things like that. And it also gets me in front of people that may or may not know who I am. So I won't do it
Yeah.
very often, but I will do it just every once in a while to kind of work out my kinks on my set.
I hate
So
them rooms. I
you
hate them.
hate. They're not my favorite. They're not my favorite either. So what are your plans going forward? Like, do you have any acting? I know that you did a movie. I can't remember the name of it off the top, but I do remember you
Me
doing a
neither.
movie. Uh, Lord, it was a couple of years ago. So, like I said, I've been following your career. So, but I can't remember the movie. You were a hairstylist in the movie, though.
Yeah, right.
Yes,
I
yes,
found myself.
yes, yes. You okay? Okay. So you were a hairstylist in a movie. I remember that. So going forward, do you see yourself continuing to do more hosting and stand up, or do you see yourself on the big screen more so?
You know what? I learned a while ago not to make plans and not to make goals. Because um, for me, because I'm a creative, every time I set a goal, every time I make a plan, for one, every time I set a goal, I crush it, and I'm left on the other end of that goal, like what's next. I never get fulfillment out of it, So I stopped making goals, and I stopped making plans because everything that I plan, it never it's not my plan. You know what I'm saying? It's for the lack of better words, God's plan, because I've been doing hair for 30 years. So my plan was to become an interior designer after I retired from doing hair. I was gonna go. I was literally just about to go to the school, the Art Institute for Interior Design, and that was that plan is long gone because I pivoted into doing more comedy stuff. And goals, like everything I ever said I was gonna do, I do it, but I'm always left unsatisfied, and I don't want to never be ungrateful. So right now I'm just going with the flow. Whatever is for me is for me. I move in favor. You know what I'm saying? I've had so much opportunities, and by me not having goals and plans, the stuff that does happen is comes as a surprise to me, and I'm always like, wow, you know what I'm saying? Like I couldn't have never set this goal, or couldn't have never planned this, and this is super dope. So
Hmm.
that makes me grateful for the opportunities that I have that I didn't even know that I was heading towards. I mean, if you know what I mean.
I know what you mean. I know what you mean.
Yeah.
I'm one of those type of people. I don't like to make plans or goals either. I do make like to-do lists, and I have a list of people that I want to work with, and things like that. And you're actually on my list. I just checked you off as one of the people that I wanted to work with.
Well,
So that's more how
uh,
I do my planning. And I do have goals for myself as far as I want to, like I said, I want to host, I want to be a comedic actress as well as a serious actress. So
yeah, if
those are
that comes, it comes. Acting. Right now, I'm on tour with Faison Love. We got a
okay.
few dates coming up, and he sees it like he he get a bad rap, but he does it to his own self. I always tell him, but right now he's just like so like yeah, when you get your show, like he talks and he speaks life, and he's like, yeah, when you get your special and this and that, and I'm like, what? I didn't even have that for myself. You know what I mean? Like I said, I'm just going with the flow, but if it happens, it happens. If it don't, I will not be disappointed because, like I said, I'm very grateful for the opportunities that I've had so far that I didn't even know would be. Like, you couldn't have told me 10 years ago I'll be here now. I never, no, I never, like, I want to work with Faison or none of that. Like, I never even knew that was going to happen. Now, I will say something that I aspire to do is meet Eddie Murphy. So I
okay.
guess that's the goal. That's a plan or whatever. So if that happens, I could die after
Oh my God. That's how I felt when I met CeeLo. I was like, I could die now. I would be very, very happy. I'm satisfied. I'm grateful. Thank you. Just kill
that.
me. I fanned out. Like I kept telling him I loved him. It was weird. It was really weird. And I'm glad
I
that he
met
didn't like
CeeLo.
block me. Look, I'm glad he didn't block me.
I met CeeLo in Miami.
I met him here in Atlanta. He was actually DJing at a club, and I told my ex at the time, I was like, you have to take me to see CeeLo. And girl, I'm gonna
Oh,
tell you how trash I am. This man had got 5 teeth yanked out of his mouth like 2 days before, and I was like, okay, so you feel better enough to take me to see CeeLo, right? Like,
ooh, ooh.
trash. Trash, trash, trash. Moving on. So, speaking of trash, being a woman in this industry, and you are a very attractive woman, and you are a very, busty woman. How do you deal with the creeps?
I'm kind of like what do you call it? I'm like a creep expert. I know how to sidestep creeps. You know what I'm saying? I know how to deal with creeps. My mouth is slick as Corona snot. So I don't have no problem. Like people always ask me about men this, men that. I got the men. I don't
Hello.
I don't have no words, no qualms with men. I rule the men. So I don't, it is what it is. It's nothing that I've not dealt with my whole life. So I don't. It's nothing. That's like minor because I can sidestep, I can finesse, I can whatever it calls for.
I know that's right. I just talk crazy to them, and they be like, "Yeah, something wrong with her." I'm like, "It is. It really is. You do not want these problems, brother. Trust me. You might want to go try another comedian, another female comedian, because you don't want this
I
one here.
feel like, yeah, I feel like women comedians, we are a little, more slick at the mouth. I don't feel like there'll ever be like a Me Too movement with female comedians. We know how to handle ourselves mostly, and
Yeah.
men are men at the end of the day, whether it's comedic men or in the hair industry, in the poetry industry.
Mm-hmm.
Like I've been in different circles where, there's a creep in every one of them,
Oh,
and I just
yeah.
deal with them accordingly and as they come.
I don't think it'll be a Me Too movement in the comedy game either, simply because we talk too much. And I've had a situation where somebody's asked me if I was sleeping with another comedian because we were sitting next to each other. And I asked him, "Why are you worried about my pussy?" And as a comedian, I felt like he was gonna say something back to me, but he ended up sitting down and being on dead mouth. I'm like, "Hey, are we going to have a banter or not?" I was ready to go toe to toe. It's like 30 people in a green room. I had my little wine, so I was a little lit. I'm ready for him to say something slick back, so I could say something slick back, and then we hug and move on with our lives. But he ended up
I'm
sitting down
sure.
and not saying nothing else. I was like, "Oh, okay, maybe he mad at me."
I'm sure. I'm almost positive that has been said uh, in the circles, but
Oh yeah.
that's something that like I maintain a very professional. Uh, I'm real professional in the
Mm-hmm.
industry because you're not gonna play with me. Nobody's gonna
Right.
play with me. Nobody's gonna
Right.
discredit me for saying I slept with this person, that person, or whatever. Anything that I do, I'm gonna do with pureness, honesty, and with intent. And so, whatever I accomplish is gonna be on my own merit and not because of who I slept with. And I
Exactly.
stand on that. I'm
Exactly.
standing on that.
And honestly, what we look like sleeping with are the people that's on the stage with us. If I'm gonna sleep with somebody, I need to sleep with the person that put the show on. I need to sleep with the owner of the club. Like, I'm not gonna sleep with my fellow brethren. Like, sir, you on the stage with me.
Yeah,
So
somebody behind the scenes or some shit.
exactly. So how do you prepare for a show?
That is a good question. A lot of times I like to get rest before a show. I kind of like to meditate before a show a little bit, just get it centered, kind of run my show through my head, or um, think of some stuff I'm gonna say. What type of crowd it is determines what set I'm gonna do. I like to get my ducks in a row, so I meditate a little bit before a show. I always drink a Pepsi because I don't drink or smoke or none of that, and so Pepsi is kind of like my thing. It gives me a little bit of a sugar rush to get the energy because a lot of times when we on tour, we have two shows a day. We'll have a 7:30 show and a 9:30 or 10 o'clock show, and it gets to be tiring. And a lot of times I get tired of talking.
Hello.
So yeah, I drink a Pepsi. My thing though, what really gives me hype is my appearance. I make sure that
Yes.
I look like a star so I can feel like one.
Yes.
And when I'm in the zone, like I'm a star, you know what I'm saying, or you know, I'm on stage, and that helps me separate myself because I'm really down to earth. So it helps me separate myself and feel like that I am worthy and like I'm this is for me. This is my thing. You know what I'm saying? So that helps. Just looking the part and drinking a Pepsi, meditating a little bit, and I'm good.
I love it. When I tell you, well, we're dressers anyway. Like, that's in us, right? And so, for me, when I went to the audition, I just had on what I would have worn just out to the club or whatever. And I kept dressing the way that I dress, and people, they're just like, who? When I walk in, they're like, who is that? Who is she? Is she somebody? And I'm like, we're all somebody. But I'm Valenese B. Who are you? So it's like, when you're right, when I get dressed, it's like some people put on clothes, we get dressed. And that's the
Yeah.
difference. That's the difference. And I don't have step. I'm not getting ready to not look good because I've had other comedians come to me, male and female, and they'll be like,
And
"Oh
listen,
my God, you always look so good when you get ready to go on stage. And look at me, I just look like I'm getting ready to go to the grocery store." And I'm like, "You knew
not
what the
my
hell you was
problem.
putting on? Exactly, you knew what you was putting on before you got here. Don't be trying to make me feel like I'm overdressed because
But
I'm killing it."
what I have noticed is, and it's so funny because I went to see a psychic in 2017. My sister passed away, as you probably know,
Yeah.
and I was just super duper heartbroken. And somebody suggested, go see this lady. You know, she might be able to bring you some peace. So I went to the psychic as kind of like a desperate measure. I wanted to be myself again, and I thought maybe my sister had a message for me that I could use to put a battery in my back. And honey, my sister wasn't thinking about me, and all that lady could talk about was comedy, comedy, comedy. Mind you, I went there in a Tupac t-shirt, some jeans, some dirty ass tennis shoes, and she was like, "You know how you dress on stage?" She said, "Keep doing that because that's how people gonna remember you." And I was like, "Damn, like how she know that?" You know what I mean? So that's kept in mind when I'm on stage, and not only that, I could see my influence in other female comedians,
Me too.
and to just put on some clothes, like you know what I'm saying. So that she was right about that. Just recently, a friend of mine, poet friend of mine, she opened up for Bill Bellamy, and I opened up for Bill Bellamy a few years ago, and she was like, my friend Amber, she go by Comedy Bae, and he was like, oh yeah, the dresser. You know what I'm saying? So that
Yes.
definitely is, I was like, dang, the lady was right because that is how people remember me. So that's the most stressful part of comedy though, because knowing I can't never wear that shit again, and then
Exact girl.
trying to figure out what to wear. The good thing
Trust
I
me,
own a
I know.
clothing store.
Right.
Owning a clothing store help, but at the same time, I'm constantly looking to give a look, child. That's
Yeah.
stressful.
No, trust me, I know. It really is. And even if I wasn't doing comedy, by me being a model, I still have to look, I still have to look the
Yeah.
part. I was at a
Mhm.
club last night, Tuesday, Tuesday, and I was walking through to the bathroom, and one of the security guards said, "Are you a model?" I said, "Yes, I am." I said, "But I'm also a stand-up comedian." He was like, "I slap the shit out of somebody for you too." I said, "Oh, okay." I was like, "Is that where we are in life now?" Okay, okay. So, what do you think are some of the mistakes that a lot of people make when getting into this industry, whether it be stand up or writing or hosting or emceeing? What do you think some of the things are that they aren't aware of that they should be in order to succeed?
One thing is, I think expectations. I think a lot of people, and a lot of times, and I see this, like this is from experience. I see that a lot of comedians expect to be at a certain place at a certain time. Um, that is a good question too. And they think they're owed something because they put in this work, or they been doing it for a certain amount of time. Your time is your time. You know, everything happens for a reason and when it's supposed to. And I think once you take that pressure off yourself, like I've been doing it this long, I'm supposed to be doing this by now. That'll lead to depression, which I see so many comedians be depressed.
Yep.
And by by feeling like they have not accomplished something or what they set out to do. Tiffany Haddish, it took her 20 years to get recognition and be in the movies,
Yep.
get to the place where she at now. So you can't put expectations or think that you owed that. And also human relations. A lot of comedians are not personable. They come off as assholes and a little harsh. and which is it's kind of a rite of passage for a comedian because comedians have a different way of thinking, and we're usually blunt and
Right.
say what's on our mind, or maybe some of them are always on looking for a laugh or whatnot.
Mm-hmm.
But I feel like that. I feel like that those people that are harsh and blunt and really just not kind, I feel like they're their own worst enemies because a lot of times the lot of opportunities that I had from hosting and from meeting these comics and whatever, that came from the relationships I cultivated with these people. They know I'm cool. They know I'm down to earth. So a lot of times when I've been referred to by people, people say, I'm looking for a female comedian. They automatically come to me because I left an impression on them. I was friendly. I was nice, and that doesn't happen very often. When I first got in the game, I damn near didn't want to do it because I was meeting people that I grew up watching on Comic View, Def Comedy Jam, and here I am, green, excited to meet
Mm-hmm.
him, and I'm like, God damn, he was mean, or what
Mm-hmm.
I'm saying, he's an asshole, or he's a weirdo, or some shit like that. And it's like, I had to learn being in it that okay, these people a lot of times they suffer from expectations and thinking they're owed something or they're not where they're supposed to be. So these people are suffering from depression or angry because they might have been promised the kingdom and didn't get it. You know what I
Right.
mean? So I learned to have an understanding from them and have empathy for those people and just just be understanding because uh, at the end of the day, these are a lot of people's lives. They live and breathe comedy, which as me, I
Right.
don't live and breathe it because I got other
Mm-hmm.
shit going on. Uh, but I'm grateful. If my last show was my last show, I'm grateful for the journey, and I feel like that's a big mistake that people have is not being grateful because uh, this is a great job, and if you just take a moment to count the blessings, the people you get to meet, the dope ass people, having fans, like I still can't get used to having fans, and the places that I've traveled and things like that, the opportunities that I've had. I think people lose sight of that and just be on tunnel vision. To me, you can't like worship something more than or love something more than you love yourself. And so, with that, that's how people become, you know, just their own worst enemy at the end of the day.
Yes, I have met several disgruntled people, and I'm just like, ugh. I'm bubbly, outgoing, friendly. I've always been this way. I will always be this way. And like you said, I just feel sorry for them. Like, oh my God, they're so miserable. Like, dang, it
Yeah,
must
it's like
hurt. Like, does it
yeah.
hurt to be that miserable? Because I,
But
I
it's like
just
a
can't.
cop, like a rookie cop. When they come in the game, this rookie cop, they buy the book, and then by the time you've been seeing death, destruction, and all that shit for years and years, them same cops become the ones who put a knee on a nigga neck. You feel me?
Yeah,
Without no
yeah.
remorse. So,
Yeah,
yeah.
it's terrible. I pray for them and I keep on moving. I don't let them knock me off my square. I had a guy snarl at me on Tuesday because I went up first. Like I opened up open mic night, right? And I was sitting back down, eating my Philly cheesesteak, drinking my little drink, and I had looked over and he like looked at me and I was getting ready to wave and smile at him and he literally snarled at me and I was like, okay, I don't know what that's all about, but whatever. Get here earlier next time. Be an attractive woman. I don't know what to tell you. Maybe you should show a little leg. I don't know. But why are you snarling at me like I did something personally to you? But like you said, you have to take into account that people are, they have expectations. He probably got there and was like, I'm here. They need to put me on stage. And he didn't go up yet. So who knows? But Comedy Bae, I love you. I love you. I love your style of comedy. I love
Thank
your
you. Thank yesterday.
entrepreneurship. I love how you continue to grow and overcome, because I know how close you and your sister were. And I never met Fonda personally, but
Mhm.
I interacted with her on social media, and
Oh,
she is still a
yeah.
ray of sunshine. So my condolences to that.
Thank you.
And you're welcome. And go ahead and let us know what your show dates are, and we can get on out of here.
Well, we got like I said, we're on tour, so we do it month by month. So for the month of April, I'll be in Memphis, Jackson, Mississippi, and Rochester, New York. And then I just have to stay tuned for what he got going on for the month of May. I know May, though, I have a couple of things locally. I have a private birthday party, and I'm hosting a Mother's Day brunch. I also, yeah, I forgot, in April this month, I have my birthday brunch coming up. Jordans and jerseys. I'll be 45 this year. It's my Jordan year. And so I have this.
Okay.
Yeah, it's gonna be a good time. So I got a little something for the ratchets and a little something for the classies. It's clatchet. So, I got Bashiri, live band, I got poetry, I got comedy. It's gonna be a vibe. So
And what date is that?
April 24th.
I I will be in town that I'll be in town that weekend. My daughter has prom that weekend, so I'll be in town. So
Okay.
let me know about the event. I'll definitely come through and show my support. And depending on where you are in May, I haven't been to Memphis since I was a teenager, and I'll come. I'm mobile, baby. I hop plane, train, automobile. I'll come and support that as well, because I'm trying to get
Memphis,
myself in different markets as well. So I'll definitely come out and support that.
yeah, Memphis is next week. I'll be in Memphis
Oh, it's
next
next
week.
week. Where will I be
Yeah.
next week? I don't even know where I'm gonna be next week, but I'll find out and I'll get with you. So you guys have been listening to Sir Classics Comedy Zone interview with Comedy Bae. I am your interviewer, Comedian Valenese B. Thank you for listening. Comedy Bae, drop your socials so people can follow you.
At Comedy Bay _1 on Instagram. Thank you so much for having me. This was dope.
You're welcome. Thank you
I'm
for
proud of
coming.
you.
Thank you. I
So proud
appreciate it. I appreciate it. Thank you.
You are now tuned in to Sir Classics Comedy Zone.